In this video we're going to have a look at using mini panels. Mini panels let us create much more complex arrangements and layouts than can be simply achieved with panels. The first thing we're going to do is add the pages. I'm going to start by uploading images. My first image is about ducks. Now notice I'm going to call it duck 1 and then in brackets image. A little later on you'll see why I'm so fussy about how we name the content. When we enter text we'll name it, if it's about the duck, we'll name it duck text. This will really help you find the content later. So we're going to choose the file, and then we upload the file. Now an important point is always to use the alternate text and title text, as this helps maintain accessibility. We don't need a menu link, and so we're going to just save it. Notice we've not added any additional text, so all we have is our duck image. We're now going to add another image, and this is going to be duck 2, and in brackets image. Go down, choose the file, upload it and put in some alternate text. And once again we save it. I've now added a number of images which we can view. We can just view the list of all the images that I've added by going to the Find Content, and here we can see all the images that I've just inserted, all of which are labelled image. We also need to add some text files as well, and we do this in exactly the same way. My first file is going to be about the pond, so I'm going to call it pond, and then I'm going to call it let's call it pond 1, and then in brackets text. The pond is important for wildlife in the garden. And we can now save this in exactly the same way. Now, by being so consistent in the titling of all the content that we're adding, we're going to make it very easy to find when the time comes to insert it into panel pages. I've got a bit more work to do, so I'm going to do that and then we can skip on ahead. I have now finished entering all the text and the images, and using the Find Content screen we can see the long list of content that I've created. The next thing to do is to add some of this content to our mini panels. To do this we go to Structure and then down the screen Mini Panels. There's also a panels page which will also take you to the same place, so I'm going to show you both views. So we can go into Find Mini Panels here by clicking the Mini Panels screen, or if we go back to the Administration menu, the Structure menu, if we go to Panels, you see we can create mini panels. The panel node option will also take you to the standard way to create the panels that I showed you on a previous video. So we now go into the mini panel screen, and we're going to create a mini panel about the pond. We can give it a description if we want. We don't actually need to, so we'll just click continue. You can skip this screen and just continue. Now we can choose a layout for our mini panel. And we're now into a screen that looks fairly similar to the panel page screen that you've seen before. And what we're going to do is that we're going to add now some content. It's going to be an existing node, and we're going to look for pond. And as you can see now why we wanted to be so careful about the way that we named the content as we're adding. I'm going to start by adding some text. I want the build node to be full content, everything unchecked. Override the title, lead nothing. And then on the right hand side I'm going to add content, existing node, pond. I'm going to add an image. I want the build node to be full, uncheck everything, override the title, and then left below, left below we're going to add one more node, another image, pond, two, full content, finish, and then we're going to add a bit of content to the right, pond, image 3, override the title, build mode full, and finish. And if we did a quick preview, this preview doesn't work so well, so we're going to finish, and we've actually created our first mini panel, which is labelled in this screen mini panel. We're going to do the same now and create another mini panel about the frogs. So we go to add, frogs, skip this page, choose the content that we want, or the content layout that we want, and I shall use the brick content. And once again we're going to go through and add some content, and I'm going to add something about the frogs now. We're going to add the text. The process is exactly the same as before, and we'll add an image on the right hand side. Build mode full, finish, and two more images. And the final image. You can see the important part of this process is to have previously loaded all of your content. So I'm just going to click finish here, and now we've created a second mini panel called frogs. I've skipped on a bit here and added now additional mini panels. You can see they're all sorted into alphabetical order in this view: duck, frogs, heron and the pond. Over on the right hand side of the screen, if we want to edit anything, you can just simply click on edit and then go straight into the content subsection, and you can then edit all the content that you've added. I'm just going to go straight back and save. There's a couple of other options here that might be useful. You can disable, that is unpublish, one of the panels, so that may be useful if you're getting something ready in advance and don't want it visible. You can delete a mini panel. Clone, it makes a copy, and again, if you've got something a little more complex, that can be useful. Export is probably less useful in the info point context, but it does let you export a mini panel from one system and import it onto another. As I say, I'm not quite sure whether that will be very useful in the info point context. To add our mini panels to a panel page. So to do this, we go to our add content menu, create a panel, and I'm going to create a panel with a 2-column panel, our usual layout. I'm going to call it garden pond this time. Garden pond. I'm going to add a menu link. I'm going to add it to the main menu, and a very heavy weight again to keep it on the right hand side. We use the in-place editor and we're going to save it. And now here we are with our basic garden pond menu. I'm going to use the customize the page editor, the in-place editor, this time to add some content. I'm going to click the plus, and now I'm going to look for mini panels, and our first mini panel will be the pond. We'll override the title, finish, and so here we have our pond. I'm then going to add another mini panel about the frogs, override the title, finish. I should swap the positions straight away, so we've still got the pond about the frogs now. Now, I've not done this before, but we can actually add the rest of the content to the middle bar. So I'm going to add another mini panel, the ducks, override the title, and then finally I'm going to add the mini panel about the heron, override the title, and let's swap that around. Now, as I'm working here, I can see that I've got left some of the page titles here. I haven't overridden the page. So first of all, I'm going to do a save. Now you're back into the standard menu. Some things can be edited and put right directly. I can see I've got a spelling mistake here, so if I just hover over the content, I can edit it, correct the spelling mistake and add any additional text that I want, do a save, and it's been updated. If you try this while you're actually in the customize page options, you may get some rather worrying looking errors. So I've got another spelling mistake here. I can correct it in exactly the same way. And that's now been put right. I get my little transient green banner at the top telling me it's been put right. Now if you try that, as I say, while you're in the customize page options, you may get some very surprising and alarming looking results. Now we have a couple of headings here that shouldn't be there. Now the only place to put these right is directly inside the mini panels themselves, and so to put that right we have to go back into the mini panels menu. To get into the mini panels menu, I prefer to open a second tab by going to Structure, Open Link in New Tab, and then find mini panels. And now we can switch between our two views, which can be very useful. So the first thing we want to do is put right the title on the duck image. So if we go to the duck mini panel, edit, go to content, go to the settings, and we haven't overridden the title. If we finish and save, if we now go back to our panel page, update the page, that's been put right. We only have to do the heron image now, so we go in to the heron mini panel, find the content, find the heron image, go to settings, and once again I'd forgotten to override the title, finish, do a save. It's really important to do these saves and then go back to our page and refresh the page again. And that didn't work. What did I do wrong there? Go back to heron, edit, content, let's settings, override the title. I obviously hadn't done that. And we do a save, go back, refresh, and I've just got heron 3 image to do now. So edit the heron page, go to content, heron 3 image, settings, override the title, finish, save. So you can see in this example why it is so important to do the saving at every step so you don't lose any of the work that you've done. Okay, that wraps up basic use of mini panels. You can see that this is a really versatile technique. You can imagine using extra images and extra text, and I can assure you that if you try this technique it'll work great on mobiles and tablets.